Good morning, everyone. Today we will discuss the remaining two lipoproteins. They are LDL and HDL. By function, they are kind of opposite of each other. So, out of that, one is known as the bad cholesterol, second one is known as the good cholesterol. So, we'll understand the each lipoprotein individually. So, first with LDL. So the full form of LDL is low density lipoprotein. It is synthesized in the liver. In its structure, the major lipid present is cholesterol. Major protein associated with LDL is ApoB100. Remember, with chylomicron, it was ApoB48. With LDL, it is ApoB100. Okay, what is its function? So it transports cholesterol from liver to the peripheral tissues such as the heart, muscle, adipose tissue, kidney, mammary gland, etc., etc. Okay, so basically it circulates the cholesterol into various organs. So when there is a high LDL level, the chances of its function, that is the circulation of cholesterol to various organs, is also high, and it will have a certain complications like coronary artery disease, myocardial infarction, or atherosclerosis. Okay, so first look at the how this LDL works. So if you look at this particular thing, so first there is a synthesis of LDL receptors, and these LDL receptors are present in majority of organs. Almost all the organs have LDL receptors, and they are getting synthesized at the cellular level. Okay, so this left portion is related with the LDL receptor synthesis, and it is dependent on overall supply of the cholesterol in our body. So once the LDL receptors are getting synthesized, due to presence of ApoB100 on the structure of LDL, this LDL will bind with the LDL receptors. Okay. After that, there are clathrine coated tips are getting formed. Okay, clathrine coated bits are getting formed. Then there will be formation of the vesicles. This vesicle will internalize the LDL which is associated or attached with the LDL receptor. So there will be formation of endolysosome. Okay, so endosome will take up the LDL and it will be transferred to lysosome, and then there will be formation of endolysosome. So as we know that lysosome contains the hydrolytic enzymes. These hydrolytic enzymes will hydrolyze LDL cholesterol into various monomers. So it will hydrolyze the cholesterol esters present in the LDL into fatty acid and cholesterol. The protein part will be hydrolyzed into the amino acid. So the cholesterol will be utilized for the formation of the cell membrane, steroid hormone, fat soluble vitamins, bile acid, etc., etc. And for the storage purpose, this cholesterol will be esterified and will be stored in the form of cholesterol esters. So this is the way how this LDL works. Now, coming to its regulation, it depends on the overall supply of the cholesterol. So, when the overall supply of cholesterol is sufficient in the major organs, then there will be activation of the acetyl cholesterol acyl transferase. So basically, it improves the esterification of the cholesterol, and then there will be a more storage of cholesterol instead of deposition into various organs. Okay. However, whenever the supply is sufficient, at that time also there will be down regulation of LDL receptor synthesis. So whenever we have sufficient amount of cholesterol, the LDL receptors and its production gets lowered. Okay. Similarly, sufficient amount of cholesterol also causes feedback inhibition of the HMG-CoA reductase enzyme. HMG-CoA reductase enzyme is the main regulatory enzyme for cholesterol synthesis pathway. Okay. So basically the LDL receptors depends on the overall level of cholesterol in our body. Okay, so this particular level or fat of the LDL we have already discussed, that if we have excess of cholesterol or sufficient amount of cholesterol, then there will be these three reactions taking place. There will be inhibition of cholesterol inhibition of LDL receptor synthesis, and then there will be acyl cholesterol acyl transferase which will be activated, and it will add acyl chain to the cholesterol for the storage purpose. So there will be regulation of LDL receptor whenever there will be low intracellular cholesterol, then the expression of LDL receptors gets increased. There will be upregulation of LDL receptor expression. More LDL receptors will be synthesized, and LDL will be formed, and it will deliver the LDL or cholesterol to the various organ. In contrast, when there are high intracellular cholesterol, at that time expression of LDL receptor will be down regulated. Okay, there will be down regulation, so there won't be circulation of cholesterol into various organ, and extra cholesterol will be stored in the form of cholesterol esters. However, in certain conditions or disease associated with the cholesterol, primarily atherosclerosis. So atherosclerosis is hardening of arteries because deposition of cholesterol into artery. So here what happens? Normally LDL receptor is under control of cholesterol which is present in the blood. As we know that there will be upregulation or down regulation of cholesterol which controls the LDL expression. But high level of LDL is under prone for the oxidative stress, or there can be free radical mediated modification of LDL into its oxidized product, that is oxidized LDL. Normally we have antioxidants such as the vitamin E, A or vitamin C which prevents this free radical mediated modification of LDL. But in certain scenario, if there is high amount of LDL in the circulation, then there will be chances of formation of oxidized LDL. Okay, so this oxidized LDL is not under the control of cholesterol level of our body. Okay, they are not easily regulated depending on the cholesterol level. So here what happens? So if there is a endothelial injury, okay, because of any reason, okay, then this oxidized LDL will bind with the monocyte, which are present in the endothelial cells or below the layer of endothelium, subendothelial cell level. There will be presence of monocytes. This monocyte will turn into macrophages. Okay, this macrophage continues the consumption of oxidized LDL or oxidized lipoprotein, that is oxidized LDL, and will be converted into the form cells. These form cells accumulates inside the arteries or intima layer of arteries. There will be release of growth factors and the cytokines. Okay, there will be release of growth factors and the cytokines. So there will be formation of plaques. So that plaques is actually a mixture of form cells and certain oxidized products that we will discuss separately in the chapter of atherosclerosis. So these cytokines and growth factors will produces further damage to the cell, and later on it can lead to hardening of the arteries, which is known as the atherosclerosis. So basically, oxidized LDL, if it is not regulated, then it is taken by the monocyte. Monocyte will form macrophage. Macrophage will turn into the form cells, and deposition of these form cells will lead to blockage of the pathway, and then there are chances of development of myocardial infarction or atherosclerosis. So in this way, the oxidized LDL is associated with the heart related complication. Similar complication can occur into the brain also. Okay. The main pathology here is that oxidized LDL is actually a modification of normal LDL induced by free radicals. Okay, and these free radicals causes certain change in the LDL, so that expression of LDL receptors will be non-regulated, and then there are several complications that can take place. Okay, so LDL receptors which are present on the macrophage, okay, they become unregulated. They are not now no longer dependent on the intercellular cholesterol levels. So macrophage turns into the form cells, and deposition into the arterial wall leads to formation of atherosclerotic plaques. Okay, fine. So this is the reason, because of that LDL is known as the bad cholesterol. So usually 30% of the LDL cholesterol passes the cholesterol to the peripheral tissues apart from liver, okay, such as the adrenal gland, testes, ovaries, heart, etc., etc. In case of hypercholesteremia, when the cholesterol is more than 200 milligrams per deciliter, at that time this delivery is get increased, okay, and there are chances that there will be formation of oxidized LDL, and that causes damage to the coronary arteries, and then can be development of coronary artery disease or atherosclerosis. Okay, so that's why LDL is also known as the bad cholesterol. Okay, so main reason of LDL needs to be in control is because of its function. In normal scenario, it transports the cholesterol to the various organs, Remember, the normal cholesterol or transportation is also must, because we know that cholesterol helpful in the cell membrane formation, in the formation of fat soluble vitamins, formation of bile salts, steroid hormone, etc., etc. Okay, so the normal presence of LDL is also must, but if it is in higher amount, then it can cause several cardiac issues. Okay, so that is about the LDL cholesterol. You need to remember this slide and mainly its function. Okay, next we will discuss the HDL metabolism.